Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 58. Today is September 17 and happy Thursday to you all. We are live now here on YouTube and on Discord. And as you know, this call is being recorded for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to be asking your questions on Menti while this call is happening so we can answer them all at the end. I'll pass the word now to Luca to give us the engineering updates.
Thank you, Angie. Hello, everybody. So this is the Thursday, actually 1 week exactly after our technical webinar, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Of course, it's available online, so in case you missed it, please feel free to watch it again. And here with me, there is Alberto, who was also presenting at the webinar. Hi, Alberto.
Hi, Luca.
Hi, so we can see and tell the people listening today what are our current focus for this week.
Yeah, sure. Okay, this week we have been mainly focused on on the first iteration of main chain changes, of the first iteration of review of main chain changes related to the code audit. So, as we said some weeks ago, we started performing the changes for some of the code audits issues that were spotted. And these changes are planned to be included in the next release. We closed this first iteration, and there are some change requests that are currently in progress. And after that, there will be another iteration of review, and then I will review it for final approval. Okay, this was related to main chain and next release. Related to the proving system performances. Okay, we had two very useful in-person meetings where we reanalyzed and deeply analyzed, but we made a step backward on the whole kind of proofs that we need to create during the epoch, and this was also useful for analyzing the timings and the performances measurements that we estimated in July. So these analyses provided us additional inputs for refining our performances, and also possible, let me say, other point of views that can be used for analyzing other proving systems. Just to mention, currently we are also looking at Turbo Plonk, and that is an option. So there is a lot of activity there because for sure this is one of the key points for us for our final model, where we will prove the whole history of the whole epoch history, and this kind of, let me say, proof creation affects performance. So and transaction throughput. So for this reason, we are putting a lot of effort to find the best configuration and model, and also on the very low level of the proving system to increase as much as possible the transaction throughput. And obviously, having this kind of complex discussions and being on the same room really facilitate things. So very happy to be here all together. Okay, regarding the SDK, there is currently we are implementing, let me say, the state modifications for keeping the UTXOs in a Merkle tree, in a huge Merkle tree. And this change is needed for the final version of the SDK that will prove the history. No? because every time we apply a transaction, we have to prove that the inputs were existing in the previous state, and we prove it by providing, verifying in the circuit that the specific UTXO is in the tree. And then we prove that the new outputs are going in are inserted in the tree. So, I will not go any more in detail, but in any case, we are currently implementing another part that was missing. That is what happens in case we have a busy position in this UTXO Merkle tree. How this is managed, how the SDK reacts on this, how the transaction then can be created with the same amount, and so on. So this is something that we are working on. Regarding the paper about the Latus decentralized actors reward model, the final review is almost finished. I already wrote some changes that are currently we are currently discussing, but I think that we are almost in the final stage. For sure, I'm forgetting something, but these are the main topics that I'm currently thinking about.
Thank you, Albert. And of course, as usual, if there are any technical questions at the end, we'll be happy to answer them. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Now let's continue with Ruben for the Helpdesk report.
Hey guys, Ruben here, reporting from sunny Mexico. Happy Thursday to everyone. I will be giving you today the Helpdesk report. So this week we had a total of 119 issues. 69% is from the faucet, and the remaining 31% are tickets from other products. You can view the description of this in the chart below. On the faucet side, the most common issue was people asking instructions on how to verify their address on the faucet. This basically means that the tickets we have been receiving have been from new users, since this feature was implemented a long time ago. So pretty excited to see new users on the faucet. And of course, we provided them with the necessary instructions to perform the verification process of their address. So on the sphere side, the most common doubt was people asking instructions on how to restore their seed, and we provide them the necessary instructions. We can see the language count. The first place is taken by the English language, and the second one is by the Spanish. We also received tickets in Russian and in Portuguese. And this week we got a customer satisfaction of 4.7 out of 5 from 21 users, almost a perfect grade. Big shout out to all the support agents giving quality support to our community. And that's it from my side. Thank you guys. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Ruben. Let's continue with Jonathan for the growth updates.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. On the growth side, we're making a couple of improvements to HDE. So we're starting to integrate social logins. Currently, we only have the ability to log into HDE via GitHub. Soon it will be other things like Google, Facebook, Twitter. So that'll be really nice and easy and convenient for people. And in addition to that, we're starting work this week on the referral system for HDE. Basically, it'll allow you to earn a bounty if you refer someone to HDE who completes a bounty. So let's say you have a technical blog and you don't know how to code yourself, you can link to HDE and then earn a piece of the bounty that the people you refer have earned. So just another nice way to earn some Zen and also help the Zen ecosystem by volunteering people who can actually make improvements to our website and systems. And that's it for me. Gustavo, anything from you?
Other than that, I'll just add that we are also working on the Chinese faucet, so that should be coming soon. That's all. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's continue with Rowan for the BD and operations updates.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Super quick update from me today because I don't have anything meaningful to report. We are still exactly where we were last week, unfortunately, so I'm not going to run through that again. My main mission at the moment is continuing our dev shop outreach, which is a perpetual process. That's something we're going to be doing for a long time to try and build up the biggest community we possibly can and drive some real use of our sidechain tech. So rather than me rambling on with no real meaningful update, I am going to pass it over to Vano.
Thanks, Rowan. Hello, everyone. So my update today is about the Blockchain UA 2020 conference, which will be online tomorrow, Friday, September 18th. And the conference is being done in a hybrid offline plus online mode, meaning that there will be people attending the conference in Kiev, Ukraine, but at the same time, it will be live streamed over YouTube for free for everyone. And like in the past, Blockchain UA will have 3 stages this year as well. We have a very strong representation at the conference with 2 speeches, both at the technical stage. The first one will be Roman Oliyniko, who will be physically present in Kiev at the conference, and with the topic title of Zendu, the K-Snark verifiable protocol for decoupled and decentralized sidechains. He will go deep into our sidechain technology and explain how everything works. His speech is at 9:30 a.m. UTC, which is 5:30 a.m. Eastern. And the evening half of the conference is for online part. We are Rob with the topic title of Real-World Scalability of Blockchain with Sidechains. We'll speak about the market opportunity and demand for blockchain, how sidechains and our technology particularly can be used in this regard, and some great use cases for it. His speech is at 3 p.m. UTC, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Time. As I said, both presentations are at the technical stage, and I will be pasting the live stream links here in the chat window now. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Rowan and Vano. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing updates. Lucy, I think you're muted.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So sorry, I was like speaking without realizing I was muted. Okay, so well, hello everyone again. Happy Thursday. So we hosted our first live tech webinar, how to build a customized D app on Horizen last Thursday. So the webinar was recorded and it's available on demand for anyone, for everyone who wants to watch or rewatch. And you can find a link to the webinar on our website and social media feed. So we received very positive feedback from our community and also from our partners about the webinar. So they commented on the format of the webinar and then also the content itself. They found it to be very interesting and helpful. So really, really happy to hear that. And then we share a survey with our webinar viewers as well. So we will improve our future webinars based on the feedback and ideas we receive. So if you are a developer, make sure that you have enrolled in our early adopt program so you will not miss any of our future webinars. So some other updates on our other events. A virtual conference called Block Security Conference has invited our co-founder and executive advisor, Rolf, to give a presentation on the topic of, so he gave a presentation on the topic of secure distributed applications on a sidechain. Actually, his presentation just finished about 40 minutes ago. This conference, including Rolf's presentation, was streamed through a very popular live TV platform to more than 4 million viewers. So, and then I'm sure that you will be able to see the playback of this presentation too. And we will share that on our social media as well. And then the other one is on September 23rd. There's a live AMA with our partner Whitebit, and Rowan will be the guest, and we will make sure to share the link as well so you can participate too. And our China community manager Guan also attended a couple of events in China as well. One of them is a blog summit hosted by Smart China Expo, and then a blockchain community meetup in his local city. And then we met a lot of like-minded people, and and then he also gave a presentation about Horizen to the meetup. And on the media side, the media outlet Forbes has quoted a commentary from our General Counsel Dean on their recent article, Crypto Regulatory Guidelines in Nigeria and Why It Matters. Dean is a super senior and awesome attorney with a focus on data privacy and technology. So he's the perfect person to comment on this Forbes piece. And we also shared the article on our social media, and take a look. It's a very interesting read. And then other than that, lastly, I just wanted to give you remind you guys to keep an eye on some of the exciting partnerships that we are going to release very, very soon. So stay tuned. That's it from me. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucy. Great updates. Rolf, would you like to add any comments or updates?
Yeah. Periodically, when I talk with folks and they ask interview questions, some of the things that they ask about Horizen are, some of the basic things like, who are your biggest competitors? What do you see as the biggest threats to the project? And we go through the few years of history and say, oh, okay, what are some of the things that we have had as threats that we've dealt with? And I know people sometimes don't know what the history is and expect me to answer that the biggest threats are that someone finds a technical exploit with a software and attacks it, or a project with privacy features are being outlawed and removed from exchanges, or the team not working together well and not making progress, price going down and not being able to make technical improvements, or people getting upset about the price and complaining that the mining and node hosting aren't profitable, or that they bought at a higher price and now it's much lower. But actually, those are all issues that can be addressed, and they don't worry me that much as I try to think about how we're going to grow over the years and how we're going to be relevant. Because what I see as the biggest threat is that no one cares that we exist, that even if we build a beautiful and useful system that works in an elegant fashion for specific blockchain and sidechain applications, that no one cares or uses it. And it's to face this biggest threat of no one caring that we exist is that I'm such a strong supporter of the work that the marketing and growth team is doing. And it's rewarding to see how everyone on the team, the technical, the operations, the legal, like you just mentioned, Lucy, supports the work that the marketing does, which is really extensive. And just some of the things, and I know I'm forgetting them, but some of the things I've seen in the last month, migrating the website to a whole new domain name, creating and editing presentations, videos, live streams, crafting unique and eye-catching graphics for our website and presentations. They continue to amaze me. Just how people can come up with art like that consistently. That's beautiful. Updating our logos for the different subsections of our web presence, and then working on the HEAT, the Horizen Academy, the partnership with Major League Hacking, and just working with all the different people that come at us and want us to work with them, or reaching out to other people that we want to get presence online. And this while keeping up a consistent social media presence across every useful social media outlet out there. So sometimes when there's very technical folks don't understand what marketing does, or marketing doesn't understand what very technical folks do, there's expertise in all different realms, and I just want to make sure that I'm bringing that to notice, and I'm a strong supporter of what the things that marketing does, because I think we can build a huge support base of users and really get our unique and outstanding software into the hands of so many people over the next few years that it's exciting. That's what I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Rolf. And now let's continue with Ro for the final part and Q&A session.
That was such a good discussion of the marketing and growth efforts, Rolf. Thank you for pointing that out. On my end, so a couple of administrative changes, guys. Hopefully you guys find this exciting, but we're going to be moving the Weekly Insiders to Mondays to consolidate our weekly team stand-up. So what we've been doing so far has been We kick off every week with an internal team meeting where we basically cover what we're going to be doing for the week, what's important to make sure we're all aligned with short-term objectives. And then we basically repeat that on the Thursday call for the Weekly Insider. So in an effort, a broader organizational effort to streamline and just be more efficient, we're going to be consolidating and just having one team call that's open to the public. And I think this just better aligns with just our mission to be more transparent over time. Rather than doing a private internal one and then an open public one, let's just do one open public one. So we'll save resources, save effort, and be more transparent in the process. It's going to be, we'll also take this opportunity to do a bit of a restructure to how we present information to you guys. What I'd like to do is restructure the format so that everything's very much to the point and maps directly to KPIs. And that hopefully in turn will open more opportunity for community discussion, because I would like for these to be a little bit more interactive. I don't want these to be, the evolution here has been, we started doing bi-weekly live streams where we're basically presenting what we're doing to the community, and then we structured quarterly live streams that are basically like a board review where you, the community, are our board of directors. And these Weekly Insiders, I think, have really taken on that flavor. So instead of being really interactive like an actual team stand-up, it's been more of just us kind of dictating what we're doing. And yeah, of course, we have some Q&A at the end with Menti, and that's fantastic. But what I'd like to do is just streamline the what we're doing part, because these really are weekly stand-ups. So we don't have to go on for too long about what we're doing. We can just get to the point, and then let's have more interactive community discussion with that. So yeah, like I said, this is just part of a broader organizational consolidation. What I've noticed is we do a lot of work. As an organization, we just churn out an enormous volume of work. Everyone just does so much all the time, and we just need to make sure that we're not spinning our wheels unproductively. So yeah, we're doing productive stuff in the sense that we're actually delivering products, and you can consider the Weekly Insider and the podcast that we derive from it a product. But is everything that we're doing actually yielding sufficient value to make the effort worthwhile, or should we reconfigure and obviously continue to churn out an enormous volume of work, but make sure that what we're doing is actually having a direct measurable impact? So anyway, that will be going on with the restructure. So since we're going to be moving these to Monday, and today's Thursday, we're not going to do the next Weekly Insider after one additional workday, which should be tomorrow, and then do another one on Monday. What we're going to do is we're going to skip next week, and then the following Monday, we're going to do the next Weekly Insider. So that'll be Monday, September 28th. Okay, so on to some good news, and Lucy pointed this out to me yesterday, which was pretty fantastic, kind of blew my mind. We already have over 1,300 registered developers interested in Horizen. So this spans a bunch of different platforms like the HDE, Heap, and just our GitHub, and just getting people to register for the webinar. And that's pretty fantastic, actually. 1,300 developers is pretty amazing, because we're actually working with some other, say, like communication platforms, like developer communication platforms, where we started working with them because they have something like 3,000 to 5,000 developers on their platform. And this, after a few weeks, maybe a month's worth of effort, we have 1,300 registered developers. And because these developers have been actually working with us on filling out surveys so that we can understand a little bit more about the composition of our developer community. Yes, we have a large amount of junior developers, but we also have a really healthy mix there of mid and senior developers. So it's actually pretty amazing that we've been able to put this together so far. So that I fully credit the marketing and engineering and product teams for all collaborating, working together just to build the platforms to start getting people to join. Now we have the big task of not just having emails and a way of communicating with developers, but actually getting them to start doing productive things, right? So ultimately, we want developers to start building, deploying, and maintaining sidechains. And doing this ourselves, we're realizing that it's non-trivial. Going from launching a sidechain to keeping that sidechain alive is non-trivial, and we're building a whole bunch of documentation that we're going to continue pressing on to mature, so that people know how to do this in detail, whether it's passive documentation to things like the webinar that was a very, very big success, and thanks to the team and community for pulling that off so well. But we also need to continue doing that. We need to continue developing video content and all sorts of other instructional content to just help our developer community start deploying sidechains. Now, also we want the developers to start contributing to the open source repositories that we have available on GitHub, and in particular highlighting the open tasks on HDE. These are things that, like Jonathan mentioned, we're going to be accelerating by cleverly using, we hope cleverly, using incentives to bring more developers in, but also to encourage contributions. So not just, again, this isn't an exercise of just getting high numbers of developers, because high numbers of developers that do nothing is ultimately meaningless. We need to make sure that we're now getting a very virtuous feedback loop here, so that developers are being productive and contributing where we think they should and where they think they should. And ultimately, what I love about this is developers, we want to teach us what types of tools they want, what kinds of environments they want to work in, what kinds of incentives they're looking for. And ultimately, we look at our SDK as a product, and we want to continuously improve that product. And the only way to improve the product truly is not just to guess what people want, but to actually get that feedback directly. So these 1,300 developers registered now is a nice starting point. It's not something that we want to brag about numbers, but it's something that now we need to start learning from. So we want the feedback, we want the interactiveness from these developers, and ultimately we want to get people to be excited about this project and build and contribute. So the last thing that I'll mention is the blockchain factory is standing up. This was something I mentioned last week, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, and is a new development, a new direction for the project. Going from the core technology development to now spinning up a team that's dedicated to deploying that technology is huge. It's extremely important. And now this blockchain factory, as I call it, really is a product team. The product team is standing up. And now they're working on the tools, techniques, and processes for how we scope work, define requirements with customers, build, deploy, and maintain blockchains. And by blockchains, I mean our sidechains. So we're working through the kinks right now. The team's just formed, and right away starting to tackle some of the early issues with actually using the SDK and keeping the sidechains alive. And we're learning a ton in the process. And so Rosario has mentioned the team composition before. I'll quickly reiterate it because it's so important. Rosario is leading the team. Maurizio is heavily supporting on the very senior technical side. Paolo, lead developer for the team. Luca, obviously like always indispensable. Marco on the development side. Gustavo supporting by advising and just helping point the team in the right direction. But that's just the start. And here we're kicking off a major hiring process, mainly through Horizen Labs. And Horizen Labs is going to be contributing some heavy technical talent to this product team, starting with the SDK API product manager role that's already been open for the last week. And I've just had a ton of fun with Rosario and the team triaging candidates, and so excited to see the high quality of candidates that are already coming through. Now we're going to be, we've done the initial screening, and we're going to be doing some initial phone calls and interviewing, and just getting them through the cycle. Through this open position, we've identified some really senior developers that could, not necessarily be on the product manager side, but actually be on the development side and maybe architect side. So we'll also be looking for product architect for this team, so that we can, again, work through requirements, work with customers, and think about these verticals, so that we can deploy the SDK into particular industry verticals, and really do this from a very senior perspective. We know that documentation is a key element here, so we're going to be hiring a technical writer for documentation specifically, and then developers, because we need a lot more developers on the team, and we're going to be opening significant positions here. At a minimum, hiring 4 to 6 developers, Java devs specifically for this team. We're looking in Milan directly to join the team there in person. Also looking at opening US positions here, and then looking global. So there's no reason to constrain geographically, but we do want to have clusters of developers and get them to work together. So anyway, super exciting, and ultimately we're going to be turning our own team to work, well, I would say immediately, with a very high-profile client or partner, I should say, that we're going to be announcing, and we're just waiting for that press release to go live. But the team is already working now, and really excited. This is the start of really a new phase for the project. So I'll stop here, and we can open it up to the Menti questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. So the first question is, have you considered making wrapped Zen with Ren? There is already wrapped Zcash. It would open up use cases for Zen as well as the ability to trade Zen on Uniswap.
So it's a really good question, and the answer is yes. And Rowan's actually been pushing us on this for a bit now. Rowan, do you want to add anything specifically on this? But I do think it's a good idea to consider.
Yeah, sure, can do. Currently exploring exactly what it would take to do something along those lines. I think it's really important, and I've said this before, that we find ways of connecting disparate blockchains. And I think something like a bridge between the Horizen and the Ethereum communities would be extremely valuable for both. So yeah, for sure, we're on the case. We're reviewing options. And if it does look feasible and it does add as much value as we expect, then we'll chat about it sometime very soon.
Okay, and the next question is, well, it says every project talks about transactions per second, 1,000, 10,000, etc. Is sidechains, are they going to improve the 12 transactions per second on Horizen right now?
So the answer is yes, and Alberto and I just had a conversation about this week. So now the team's working on baselining test cases for throughput of the system that we're building, so the fully decentralized version. But one reality of the Zendu protocol is it doesn't require the fully decentralized implementation of Lattice to operate. It's just an example. So it's something that's consensus agnostic, and people can really take it in different directions. So what we want to do is actually put together a TPS profile going from something that's, say, semi-centralized all the way to something that's totally decentralized with a Lattice implementation, so that you can see that range there. And the range obviously would be quite wide, in the sense that if you're okay with a semi-centralized solution, which for sure there are many blockchain applications out there that are perfectly fine with semi-centralized, then you could get very high throughput. And then on the other end, if you want that decentralization trade-off for security, then the TPS is going to go down. But still, we're pushing towards what we think would be very acceptable TPS for, say, a very significant percentage of the use cases out there. And Alberto, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
Oh, no, I think, Robert, you explained very in a complete way. I mean, I just say, I mean, even if you want to approve your block by yourself, I mean, you can even reach 1 million transactions per second. So it really depends on the level of decentralization that you want. I mean, no?
Right. So I'll set up a node on my laptop and another node on my desktop, and we'll have 1 million TPS between them.
Well, there's a slightly different way of looking at it too, because we could say we could have a side chain that has a fast transaction, a person-to-person app, or a payments app, because we can do the proof of stake side chain as a standalone blockchain and have blocks every 10 seconds or something like that. But so that's certainly one of them. But I think we should look at transactions per second as all the side chains that are in aggregate operating in conjunction with the Horizen main chain, because I think that would be the true measure of transaction per second, because it's a true second layer that we're building, and it's basically an unlimited number of side chains for different purposes, and each of those can operate at different transactions per second.
Such a great point, Rolf.
Okay, and the third and last question is, how hard would it be to make a national voting system using Zen?
Well, hey, I'm going to say super easy because I'm not the one building it. But actually, Alberto, maybe you want to chime in on this one as well. But I'll quickly say that we for sure are going to be doing voting system. It's probably one of the most important infrastructure things that I want us to be serious about in this next iteration of our roadmap, because we need to start having direct community sentiment directly contributing to the direction the project takes and just project governance. So that's something that's really important. We're going to be diving very quickly, now that we're getting Zendu and Lattice to the point where we can actually have like production grade sidechains. The next step from there, as soon as we have the production grade sidechains, is going to be a voting system. Now from there, tailoring this to specific use cases, say like a national, like a nationwide election, that's something that's the technology is not the constraining factor of that. Politics and administrative requirements would be the constraining factor for how to do it. But from the technology side, it's something that's extremely interesting. And maybe something that would be a really nice shortcut is there are some countries out there that actually issue asymmetric pub-private key pairs to citizens. And if you have a system like that that already does the distribution of keys, say like a digital identity to citizens, mapping that digital identity into a blockchain voting system is something that's much easier than us, for instance, trying to figure out a way to onboard an entire country's worth of citizens. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Alberto, or Rolf, you've also been thinking about this.
No. In fact, I mean, it's for sure. If we can rely on, let me say, some national certificate for sure, and obviously, what we'll do is using zero knowledge technology to make, let's say, to respect the privacy of the voters and of the person. So that's for sure is something that can make these can make this possible and easier and more reliable to being able to be sure and that we have one person, one vote. But obviously, using for example snarks and zk snarks to guarantee the privacy of the voters and of the people, and these can be used for many kind of use cases, not only voting for let me say national elections. You can even think about survey systems where you can you can have a sidechain where you can allow companies to make surveys and guaranteeing that the voters are unique. So, and this is in a totally decentralized way and a totally privacy preserving with the privacy preserving approach. So. I mean, personally, I'm very excited to start. I mean, again, discussing about this, and for sure, we're going to see it as soon as we can after having deployed the full model.
Yeah, I think Alberto's point that the voting system, we don't have to immediately try to go to a national voting system. That there's many other small voting systems, surveys, and other things like that that are important. And I actually think this could be one of the killer apps that we do, because we promised that we're going to do this internally, and it's a large part of our governance for this, which is important. But the other thing I was thinking of is, as we develop this on the testnet, there's no reason we can't actually have votes done while it's running on the testnet. Sure, but they would be little votes. What color should this be? What should we do next? Things like that. And we can have as we're working on this, we can show that it's possible to do the parallel development of developing applications on the testnet and getting them ready to launch on the mainnet. And to me, the biggest thing is about voting on blockchain and why it's different than any other voting system out there and why it has the potential to be a killer app, is that people can look on the blockchain and verify that their vote was counted. There's really no other way that I know of to have a person with their private key do a vote, like Alberto said, with a zero knowledge proof. So it's a secret ballot, but they can also verify that their vote was actually recorded. And I think that's a game changer for any type of representative environment. So I think, and gosh, I still remember going to conferences and people being very excited about the voting system we were developing. We got the whole white paper on doing voting on the main chain, and it was frustrating when we had to make the decision that it wasn't going to scale on the main chain, and we should redirect our efforts into a way that would scale. But I think the way that we're doing it now, with side chains and being able to have the voting application that's extendable into many different areas of voting, not just national elections or local elections, but heck, clubs, surveys, businesses. There's so many different directions where people want to get opinions. But the big thing when you talk to people about why blockchain voting is important is being able to see that your vote was counted.
Can I just say the questions today were just fantastic. This is such a great Q&A. Thank you guys for participating.
Yep, totally agree. I was actually also going to say that. And thank you everyone for answering the questions as well. So yeah, awesome Weekly Insider. Thank you everyone for being here. Remember, we do this, well, we're going to switch it and we're going to change that now to Mondays on Discord and YouTube, and to give you all the latest Horizen updates. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody, and thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.